السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأهل بيته أجمعين. Brothers and sisters, welcome all of you again to another episode of our Tajwid show, the show which is exclusively designed during the Ramadan to help brothers and sisters learn the basic Tajwid rules to perfect the recitation, inshallah. Brothers and sisters, we've started the show from the first week of the Ramadan, and we continue the show every week, 2 days a week. And so far we covered, Alhamdulillah, we started off how to recite the rules of Ta'awud and Tasmiyah, and then we finished Makharij al-Huruf. We also covered Sifat al-Huruf. We also covered the rules of Nuna Sakina and Tanween. Today, inshallah, we'll be talking rules of Mim as-Sakin. Okay, rule of Mim as-Sakin. Those who can remember, in our last episode, we talked about the rules of Nun Sakin Tanween has a 4 rule. We said Idhar, Idgham, Ikhfa, and Iqlab. Similarly, in rules of Mim Sakin, we have only 3 rules. Why you don't have the Iqlab? Because in Idgham, in rules of Nas and Nun Sakin, we learned what does Idgham do, Iqlab do? Iqlab changes Nun to Mim. But here we're learning the Mim Sakin already. This is why we don't have any rules called Iqlab in Mim Sakin. And Mim doesn't change its shape to any other letter, unlike Nun Sakin. Nun Sakin or Tanween is Nun sound changed to Mim sound. So in rules of Mim Sakin, it has 3 rules. And to distinguish them from Nun Sakin, we call them Ash-Shafawi. So there's 3 rules, the same name as the Nun Sakin, but there's one additional word to identify it's not Nun Sakin, we add to Shafawi. So we have 3 rules. It's called Ikhfa al-Shafawi, Idgham al-Shafawi, and Izhar al-Shafawi. That's the 3 rules. So it's Ikhfa al-Shafawi, Idgham al-Shafawi, and Izhar al-Shafawi. You see this Izhar, Idgham, and Ikhfa, there's 3 words. We're familiar with the rules of Nun Sakin. But to know this is not a Nun Sakin, this is what we add a Shafawi. The word Shafawi means the lips. Since the Mim is the lips word, is from the lips, we call them a Shafawi. So let's start with the first one. We call it Ikhfa al-Shafawi. Ikhfa al-Shafawi. Al-Shafawi. And it has only one letter. It's called Ba. And the same, if we can remember, I told you the 3 steps rule when we discussing Nun Sakin. We said started with first look for the Nun Sakin with Tanween, then look at the next letter, and then see that if the letter matches with any of the rules, then it's belong to that rule. So same here, we'll do the 3 steps rule again. First, we'll look for the Mim Sakin, and then we'll see the next letter. If the next letter is Ba, then we call them Ikhfa al-Shafawi. For instance, if I write here, يومهم بارزون. So here, يومهم بارزون. Now, after Mim Sakin, we have Mim Sakin here, but this Mim is a Maftuh, is a Fatha, so we don't count this one. We have to look for the Mim Sakin. We have the Mim Sakin here. Next letter is Ba. Next letter is Ba. So this Ba is belong to Ikhfa al-Shafawi. So we call them Ikhfa al-Shafawi. Now, how do we read this Ikhfa? It's very it is a very hiding gunna again, because the ikhfa itself, the name is the hiding, the concealing. So it's يوم هم بارزون يوم هم بارزون. Now, sometimes we find it recited as this يوم هم بارزون, not like this. It's very hiding. The scholars said it should be that both of the leaves should touch the minimal touch. يوم هم. Some even say leave the little gaps, very line of the gaps, the thin line of the gap between the lips, so you can say more correctly. يوم هم بارزون. Okay, very hiding guna. So this is Ifa al-Shafawi. Anytime you come across this rule, قولهم بأفواههم, or there's a number of places in the Quran we find like after mim sakin. Anytime you come across this, it's Ifa al-Shafawi. Right, let's go to the next rule. It's Idgham al-Shafawi. Idgham al-Shafawi. It has one letter. It's mim. No. Anytime after mim sakin, if we have letter mim comes, then we call them Ikhfa al-Shafawi. And how do we say this? This is complete margin. There's two mim. For instance, if I write like this, lahum, lahum min, lahum. You see, after mim sakin is mim. So we just sound is one mim. The sound they put the shut down the top. So the strong gunna here. لهم من فوقهم لهم من فوقهم. Okay, so it's very straightforward. It's no complication at all here. Anytime you see that after meme, this one meme comes after meme second another meme, then we merge them and it's strong gunna. And first one we say after meme sakin, if a ba comes, it's hiding gunna, very very concealing gunna. Yeah. Now, what is Izhar al-Shafawi? The third rule is Izhar al-Shafawi. Izhar al-Shafawi is very easy to remember. There's 26 letters. So again, I said if we take away mim and ba, then all the rest of the letters are Izhar al-Shafawi. So whatever we have, any letter apart from mim and ba comes, it's straight izhar, very clear. For instance, alam tara. Alam tara. An'amta. An'amta. So anytime you see after mim second is ta, is an'amta, alam tara, alam yaj'al, alam naj'al. All of them are izhar shafa because next letter is not mim or not ba. Anytime you see after mim sakin, any other letter comes. All of them, these 26 letters, are izhar shafawi. So it's a very simple rule for rules of mim sakin. We have anytime you see any of the letters apart from mim and ba comes, we call them izhar shafawi. We read clearly. If the letter mim comes, we merge and we strong gunna here. If the ba comes, it's ikhfa shafawi, it's hiding gunna. So this is how all three rules we learned from the rules of mim sakin. When we talk about the idgham, as we mentioned, idgham if you said what is how many types of idgham? Now, before asking this question, idgham of different types, uh, you have to understand depending on the gunna, idgham two types: idgham with gunna, idgham without gunna. Depending on the sifat and the makhraj, okay, the qualities and the pronunciation of the letter. idgham four types: idgham متماثلان, idgham متقاربان, idgham متجانسان, idgham متباعدان. So this is the four types of idgham. But we'll discuss it the later on, inshallah, if the time permits us in our Ramadan, because we go literally the next week, probably the last week. But we have to cover a very important rule, which is the mad. I would say this is one of the most important topic in Tajweed. We have to know what is mad and how many types of mad here. Uh, so I'll try to explain if the time permits, inshallah. This the four idgham. We just idgham idgham مثلين صغير, idgham مدغمين كبير. There is a different type of idgham, inshallah. Before I go to our the planned topic, the med, one thing I would try to clarify here in terms of the most of the researchers sometimes ask about this alamat awqaf, what we call this alamat awqaf. Awqaf. So you see, the alamat awqaf, or the stopping signs, if you write in English, you could be like stopping signs. Stopping signs. Right. The first is they are the signs we find mostly when you read the Quran. And sometimes we get confused why these signs are for and what the signs really mean in terms of the recitation. Uh, I took these signs, or another one maybe at the end, if I can write, is sin. Okay, sin is not sin. Right. So these are the signs are mostly in all the mushaf, the common. There is Madani mushaf, which is printed in Medina or the Arab countries mostly, they have these signs. If you go to Indo-Pak mushaf, the subcontinent where they print out, there's some other, the Ta, Qaf, Sa, there are other signs there. But I'll talk about briefly these ones, because those are the mostly very common. So what is the first one is a mim. So remember there is two types of mim. One is mim qawma and mim nawma. So mim qawma we could talk about in iqlab. When we see this mim ba'd, mim ba'd. When we learned iqlab, we said there's one mim here. It's called mim ba'd, standing mim. This mim shape is like this, standing. When we in the line in the Quran we see another mim we see is flat mim, or we call qawma standing and nawma is lying down or sleeping mim. This mim. So this mim here is it's flat lying down mim. When we see this mim is called waqf lazim. Waqf lazim. Waqf lazim means, or some say it's waqf wajib, i.e., when we see this waqf, we have to stop. Okay, so laziman, it's a must. When you see the meme, you should stop. You have to stop. The number of reasons. One, if you don't stop, then and stop the following word, then meaning might change, or it could give you the distorted meaning. This is why then when you see the meme, you have to stop. Uh, Number of places in the Quran when you say إنما يستجيب الذين يسمعون, and then you see in Surah Al-An'am, there's meme, so you should stop there. And then والموتى يبعثهم الله. Okay, so إنما يستجيب الذين يسمعون والموتى. You shouldn't say إنما يستجيب الذين يسمعون والموتى. Not like this. You have to stop يسمعون when you see the meme. Or لا إله إلا هو كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه. Okay, إلا هو, there's waqf lazim. Stop there. Or تلك الرسل فضلنا بعضهم على بعض. You see, waqf mim there in the Quran is a third juz in Surah Al-Baqarah. So it's first is when you see this meme, you stop there, the first line. Stop. تلك الرسل فضلنا بعضهم على بعض منهم من كلم الله, like this. So anytime you see that sign meme, it means you have to stop. There are so many places in the Quran like this, so you should be familiar with this very easily. And then we have the lam alif. Lam alif, some said its name is وقف لا تقف. What لا تقف? وقف لا تقف. Okay, I don't stop. وقف لا تقف, don't stop. Some mushaf, this lam alif, they replace with the sili, the sad lam ya. But some mushaf, this mostly use this lam. For instance, if you get an example from Surah Al-Muddathir, وما جعلنا أصحاب النار إلا ملائكة. There's lam alif. So you don't stop there. Now, if you stop, what's going to happen? Because sometimes we see that a quite long line that I can't cover with the breath. So if I stop there, then you have to just go back and read again. So if you read وَمَا جَعَلْنَا أَصْحَابَ النَّارِ إِلَّا مَلَائِكَةً وَمَا جَعَلْنَا عِدَّتَهُمْ إِلَّا. You're supposed to do it like this. But since the ayah is too big, I can't carry on. So what? وَمَا جَعَلْنَا أَصْحَابَ النَّارِ إِلَّا مَلَائِكَةً وَمَا جَعَلْنَا عِدَّتَهُمْ. Carry on. Okay, like this. So if you stop, you just go back and carry on. لا نشتري به ثمنا ولو كان ذا قربى. In Surah Al-Ma'idah. Then if it is lam alif here, if you run stop, then you ولو كان ذا قربى ولا نكتم, like this. Okay, if you first ideal scenario is you shouldn't stop, but if you stop, all you have to go back and carry on. Now the second question, how far I should go back? This is the common issue. First thing, you have to know the meaning. If you know the meaning, then it's easier for you to restart. Why I should start again. But if I don't know the meaning of the ayah, scholars allow then this approximate 1 or 2 words before, you just carry on, should be okay, inshallah. But it is not very encouraged that you ideally you should know the meaning. Then it would give you the clue. Now the stop. Am I starting from? Is it right or not? Another waqf. So we have here the meme first is waqf lazim. When you see, stop. Just opposite is lam alif. When you see this sign, don't stop. And if you stop, just go back few words and carry on again. Third is waqf jaiz. Waqf jaiz. Waqf jaiz is by name you understand. It's waqf jaiz means it's allowed. It's allowed means if it's your choice. If you want to stop, you can stop. If you want to carry on, you can carry on. It's both are the same. Uh, there's so many examples in the Quran. I think this is one of the signs. This is the most in the Quran. So you see very often this jim. When you see the jim, if you comfortable, you can stop. If you're not comfortable, you can carry on comfortable in a sense with your breath. Uh, so it's both way. It's equal. It doesn't give the extra weight if you stop on stopping or you have to carry on like it. It's same. So waqf jaiz when you see you can stop or you can go. It's your choice. Now next one is qili. Some said qila. Both of the name being used in books of Tajwid and the scholars use both. But the detailed name of this is al-waqful awla. We call them al-waqful awla. Al-waqful awla. And the next is al-faslul. Oh, these two are usually explained together, so that it's easier to understand. Al-waqful awla, that means it's better to stop. Al-waqful awla, what the sentence itself means is it's better to stop. And al-waslul awla is better to continue. Now, when you see that qili, it's always good to stop. Okay, because qili is give you complete meaning. Again, this is just explaining the signs. Okay, I should make it clear very beginning. These signs, or this qili or sili or the mim, they are actually just the expression of the al-waqf al-ibtida. There's another topic of the tajweed. This is what we call waqf tam, waqf hasan, waqf tabih. These are the aqaf. This is the main the topic of the waqf and ibtida. But I'm not going to go in that names there. So these names are very closely correspondent with these signs. But generally, when we see these signs, I just give you the general understanding. What should we do when you see the signs? But when you read the Quran, and if you have the knowledge of waqf, these are the waqf I mentioned, waqf al-ibtida, then even the signs are not there, even the signs that you know it, where to stop and how you're supposed to continue. Anyway, so al-waqf al-awla, it's when you see these signs, it's always stop. For instance, if I read وَيَسْتَعْجِلُونَكَ بِالسَّيِّئَةِ قَبْلَ الْحَسَنَةِ وَقَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمُ الْمَثُلَاتِ. You see, this qili here, this stop. وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَذُو مَغْفِرَةٍ لِلنَّاسِ عَلَى ظُلْمِهِمْ. This is sili. وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَشَدِيدُ الْعِقَابِ. Now, if you want to continue, the مغفرة للناس على ظلمهم وإن ربك لشديد العقاب is up to you. Okay, it's silly. You continue. ويقول الذين كفروا لولا أنزل عليه آية من ربه. This silly here. You stop. إنما أنت منذر ولكل إنما أنت منذر. That's silly. But I haven't stopped there because it's better to continue. إنما أنت منذر ولكل قوم هاد. إنما أنت منذر ولكل قوم هاد. But if the silly there, right? Now the second question. This very similar explanation with the lam, alif, and silly. Lam, alif, we shouldn't stop. And silly's head is we shouldn't stop, we continue. What's the difference there then? Lam, alif, if you stop, then you need to go back. You shouldn't carry on from where you stopped, from that point. You have to go back and repeat this. But in silly, you don't need to go back. If you stop, it's nothing wrong, right? It's better if you can continue. But if you stop, that's fine as well. Okay. So you don't need to go back. You can carry on for إنما أنت منذر ولكل قوم هاد. You don't say إنما أنت منذر أنت منذر ولكل. Not like this, right? So it's very simple and straightforward. Really, when I teach them, I usually remind the, the students this two words, if you can remember. These two words are preferable and permissible. Preferable and permissible. So these two words actually gives the proper explanation of these two. Clearly, it is preferable to continue, it's preferable to stop, but permissible to continue. So clearly it's preferable to stop, but permissible to continue. You can continue, no problem. And just opposite is silly. It is preferable to continue, but permissible to stop. So if I said ويقول الذين كفروا لولا أنزل عليه آية من ربه قل إن من ربه إنما أنت منذر. I didn't stop ربي. I was supposed to stop because it's preferable, but still I'm permissible. I can continue. So this is what the silly and khili, they're just opposite. If your breath permits, you don't stop on the silly. But if you think it's too long, I can't continue, you can stop, and you can continue while you stop from this point. You don't have to go back. Now, sometimes we see there are some long ayah and there is no qili in there. It's just 2 or 3 silly. Probably we can see mostly the longer ayahs. إن ربك يعلم أنك تقوم أدنى من ثلثي الليل ونصفه وثلثه وطائفة من الذين معك والله يقدر الليل والنهار. You see there's 2 qili there. علم أن لن تحصوه فتاب عليكم فاقرؤوا ما تيسر من القرآن علم أن سيكون. There is silly there. So in that case, you can stop, you can carry on. You don't have to keep going back. If it is lam alif, then go back. Silly, you stop and carry on. Very simple and straightforward rule. Now, another the sign we come across very often, it's 2 sets of 3 dots. Okay, 2 sets of 3 dots. So we call them waqf mu'anaqa. Waqf mu'anaqa. This waqf mu'anaqa, whenever we see the Quran, anytime you see there's 3 dots, then we expect another 3 dots in a word or in few words length. You see another 3 dots. You don't see ever just 3 dots. Anytime 3 dots comes, there's another set of 3 dots comes, so they come together. Right. So these 3 dots means if you stop on the first one, you don't stop on the second one. And if you don't stop on the first one, you stop on the second one. I.e., simple word, you don't stop in both of the signs, or you stop in both of the signs. You have to stop either one of them. Okay. So very simple rule. If I can give some example, it will be easier, I think. When you open the Quran, the first, when you do go to the Surah Al-Baqarah, after Surah Al-Fatiha, we find ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه لا ريب. And you see these 3. Let me give it a different color. another dot. Now, when we see this signs together, لا ريب فيه هدى. As the rules say, if you stop on the first one, you don't stop the second one. So I can say ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. Or if I don't stop on the first one, I say ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. So these are the three sets. Another time it could come ألست بربكم قالوا بلى شهدنا. Okay. In Surah Al-A'raf, قالوا بلى. In Surah Al-A'raf, we see another sign like this. قالوا بلى شهدنا. Now we can do either way. قالوا بلى شهدنا or قالوا بلى شهدنا أن تقولوا يوم القيامة. So what معانقة as we say, whether we should stop in the first one and skip the second one, or skip the first one and stop on second one. That's it. Very simple. We have another example. قال فإنها محرمة عليهم وقف معنقة 40 سنة وقف معنقة. You can say قال فإنها محرمة عليهم 40 سنة يتيهون في الأرض, or قال فإنها محرمة عليهم 40 سنة يتيهون في الأرض. Okay. So this وقف معنقة is whenever we see these three dots, we know the rule very straightforward. Now another rule is we see sometimes the sin in the middle, the sin sign. When you see this sin is called sakta. The sakta is in 4 places in the Quran we see, and another in Al-Haqqa is Al-Haqqa mostly Maliyah halaka anni sultan. You have to stop anyway, and when you stop your breath comes out. So some scholars say this is one of the sakta as well. But ha forced you to make the sakta anyway. But there's the other 4 places that's if you are not aware, you could skip the sakta. So there are the 4 places in the Quran is Surah Al-Kahf, Surah Yasin, Surah Al-Qiyamah, and Surah Al-Mutaffifin. So there are the 4 surah we see this sin sign. Sakta means you pause your sound, okay, but you hold the breath on. For instance, if I read كلا بل ران على قلوبهم, it's in Surah Al-Mutaffifin. من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن. من مرقدنا هذا. I just pause the sound but hold my breath on. Surah Yasin. وقيل من راق. وقيل من راق. سورة القيامة. عوجا قيما لينذر بأسا شديدا. عوجا قيما لينذر بأسا شديدا. So these are the 4 places. I didn't say وقيل من راق. I didn't take the breath. I stopped my breath. وقيل من راق كلا بل ران. And the other 2 places, if you want to skip this sakta, you can. So if you say الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا قيما لينذر بأسا شديدا, you can complete waqf and you carry on. That's fine. And if you continue the recitation عوجا قيما, then you don't say عوجا قيما, you say عوجا قيما لينذر. This sakta only happens when you continue the ayah. We don't stop end of the ayah. If you don't have the ayah, then there's no sakta. You just walk complete walk. Likewise, من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون. If you stop on من مرقدنا and you take the breath, then no sakta, you continue. But other 2, كلا بل ران, you can't say كلا بل ران على, not allowed. Likewise, وقيل من راق, not allowed. You can't waqf there. You can't take the breath completely off and then carry on. So كلا بل ران and وقيل من راق, there is mandatory sakta there. You make sakta. But other 2, you have the freedom. If you stop, there is no sakta, and if you continue, then there is sakta. Okay. So these are the rules of sakta. As I mentioned, there's 4 places in the Quran, and هلك مالية هلك عني سلطاني in Surah Al-Haqqah. Another one, if you stop, then you make the sakta, because the ha makes you do the sakta anyway. So there are the very the brief the introduction of this alamat awqaf. Again, these are the part of another topic called al-waqf al-ibtida in tajweed. Okay, there why we know what's this waqf called. When is waqf tam? When is waqf hasan is better to stop? When is waqf qawi? And some of the waqf you shouldn't stop here at all. Okay, you don't sign, you don't stop there, because we did distorted meaning. Sometimes it's praiseworthy. Stop. It's good to stop. So these are, if with the time permits, we'll talk inshallah. But here today we've covered so far rules of misakin and alamat awqaf. Brothers and sisters, because of the time constraints, we can't actually start the rules of the mad. Hopefully, inshallah, in next episode we'll cover the mad. But again, it's very important that whatever we discussed, because since it's in the YouTube recording, if you're not clear, go repeat the part again and try to implement in your recitation. This is the most important thing. The knowledge is not enough if you don't implement in recitation. This is the theory part. The practical part, when you say this, the rules in your recitation, then we can fulfill, or we can get the most out of this episode, these lessons, this learning, inshallah. So until the next week on Tuesday again, we'll stop here today. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.